It's 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April the 16th, 2024. I call this regular meeting of the Kingsville Independent School District to order. We'll have roll call. Joe Morales. Here. Martine Chapa. Here. David Garcia. Here. Joseph Reese. Here. James Clusie. Here. Yelma Salinas. Here. Brian Kufal is here. Let the record show there is a quorum of board members present and that this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551. We move to the moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, this meeting is being live video streamed. We move to item number 4, which is adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt this agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Ruiz,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Chapa. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item number 5, public participation. Ms. Pettis, do we have anyone that wishes to address the board?
No, sir.
We move now to item number 6, communication from administration. Item 6A is recognition of the H.M. King High School drill team. It's going to be found on page 3 of our packet. Mr. Mendez and Mrs. Garza.
I believe Ms. Garza will be coming up to the podium to introduce the drill team. She's done a tremendous job with the drill team. It's just grown exponentially.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Melinda Garza. I'm the theater arts teacher at H.M. King High School. I also am at Gillette. I have my drill team here tonight. We have 45 new members on our new team for the 2024-25 season. We have 43 beautiful young ladies, and we have 2 gentlemen on our team this year. So we are going to do amazing things. We're super excited, and we have so much talent this year. So also we have 3 members that competed at our dance competitions this past season. So it is Gabriela Esquivel. Please come up over here. Superior ratings at both dance competitions in Corpus Christi at the Showmakers of America, and the other dance competition that we were at, Gigi Guajardo. Come up here. And Julissa Rincon. These ladies competed at two dance competitions in Corpus Christi, getting superior ratings at all the dance competitions, competing in solos. So I was very, very, very impressed with these dancers. They created their solos, and they're just doing amazing things, as well as all my dance team that showed up tonight. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. You all are going to have an amazing season, and the community and everyone is here to support you. Thank you all so much. Congratulations.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, real quick, can I get a picture with all of the?
Yep.
Stand up. Come on. Tall in the back.
Put the collar in the back. Get 'em. Go. Your bank.
Yeah, up, forward.
Up there. Middle. Here on the side. Come on. Here.
Everyone was over here. Go. Hi, everybody. More. Smile big. Go. Can we get a big one? Can we? One of the moms in the back for us. Smile big, looking up. Thank you. Oh, one more. One more. For the mom in the middle. Horns up, everyone. Thank you, everyone. We're excited for our new season. Congratulations to my girls. Don't forget your things. Who did this one, Taylor? Oh, this was for Sayus. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, why not so heavy? Yes. Thank you all for having us. Thank you.
All right, we move now to item number 6B, to be the 2023, 2024 Bus Driver of the Year Award. This can be found on page 4 of our packet. Mr. Barrow.
Good evening, board. How are you guys? Welcome, everybody. We have Ms. Kelly here from Carlisle Insurance that's gonna read a little deal here for our bus driver of the year. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it out today, so I guess I'll be accepting his awards. I don't know if he's gonna get them tomorrow, but.
Good evening, school board members, administrators, and guests. On behalf of the Property Casualty Alliance of Texas and Carlisle Insurance, I want to thank you for the opportunity to honor one of our employees, in particular, one of our bus drivers. Each day, school bus drivers are entrusted with safely transporting our children to and from school. No matter the weather conditions or the traffic, their performance on the road must always be A+. PCAT and Carlisle Insurance also recognizes that school bus drivers help set the tone for children's daily experiences. You could say that they are our school's ambassadors. Typically, the bus driver is the first school person that children see in the morning and the last they see in the afternoon. And just as it's said about great school teachers, PCAT and Carlisle Insurance believe that the same holds true for the best school bus drivers. It's not a job, it's a calling. This year, following a selection process by the district, one exceptional driver was chosen to be the district's PCAT Bus Driver of the Year. On behalf of PCAT and Carlisle Insurance, it is my honor to present Thomas Teague, or TC, with the 2023-2024 PCAT Bus Driver of the Year commendation, Templar and Tote. Please help me congratulate TC.
Hang that on the wall for him.
Okay, hang it on the wall.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we move now to item 6C, which is the superintendent's update. This can be found on page 5 to 7 of our packet. Dr. Pettis.
Yes, I've been meeting with, Mike Davila and with Dr. Sandoval about the track, and I wanted to make sure that you all have an update on the track. So, he is presenting a PowerPoint about it. You should have a hard copy.
Good evening, Mr. Kufal, Dr. Bettis, members of the board. Remember when we talked about the date we're gonna finish? So it's been moved back a little bit. We're working toward it, but I'm gonna give you a little update of where we are now. If you could go to be continued. So we started off with demolition, the removal of the asphalt and runways. We saw that the first time. This was back in December. Then the excavation, all the removal of the old track. And then we got to be continued. So from this part, it was rebuilding the asphalt, and then we had to let it sit for 30 days, and then the new track surface. So this is what we'll go over, and then we'll show you what our track is supposed to look like in a few days. So rebuilding the asphalt. They dug in about 3 to 7 feet from the original surface. They had to really demo the track, get out all the asphalt, go underneath, and then they had to start moisture control, which means that they had to get a select fill. Then they had to test it to make sure it was stable, so that way our track does not move from here on out. And so they kept on that process of select fill, check it, select fill, check it. So as you've noticed in the check register, the bill of the ECS program, that's the company that would come check periodically and make sure that what our company was doing, what the Biden company was doing, that everything was up on point and on par for our tracks, and we keep on. The final check before the asphalt was all these borings. So they went around to all these different locations on the track and made sure that everything was on point. We have a copy of all the tests and to make sure that everything passed throughout the process. You can go to the next slide. This is a tool that they used on the left, that picture, and that's the tool that they, don't ask me what the tool is because I don't know what the tool is. I got the results and made sure that they were on point. So I would communicate with the superintendent of the project and make sure that all the numbers were correct before we laid down the asphalt. On the picture on the right is the asphalt. And that was the period that once they finished the asphalt, then we had to let it sit for 28 days. And so this is what it looks like now. So the new track surface is the picture on the left. The one in the middle, I went to the top of the bleachers and got a picture of our track with the exchange zones. And then the last picture is actually the exchange zone. So multiple coats of paint, of the red paint, along with our brand new curb. And understand this about our new track. What we had before was a 7-lane track, and now we have a full competition 8-lane track. So this is going to be state of the art, full competition track when we decide to build on it in the future. And then we got the black exchange zones, and the exchange zones, if anybody wants to know, or if anybody asks you guys what the exchange zones are, it's relays. So if you run the 4x1, there's a certain exchange zone for the 4x1, the 4x2. And so all of those are marked with the black paint. They had to do multiple coats of the red and then multiple coats of the black. And then they will continue striping and making the lanes and all that good stuff. And this is what it'll look like at the very, very end. So I don't know if you can see it, but you can see where all the lanes are, and then the exchange zones. And then Dr. Bettis, we are putting Home of the Bremas in the middle down the straightaways. So we're adding that to our track as well.
It wasn't coming with it, and when I saw that one, it says home of the, was it Cardinals, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I asked if Home of the Bremas was gonna be on there, and it wasn't, but it is now.
We're gonna make it happen.
Right.
We're making it happen. So put Home of the Bremas on there. They'll line it up. I'm sure we'll have to wait a few days to let the paint dry, and then we'll be ready to rock. And then just a reminder to all, our ribbon cutting event will be on May the 7th at 4:30. everybody's invited. I think I've heard, there's a rumor that Dr. Sandoval is gonna get a team together and Dr. Pitts are gonna get together. I think Dr. Pettis is on a team, Dr. Farah, Ms. Zimmerman. It's gonna be a race. You wanna be there for this event, so. Straight running again.
As long as speed is not involved, you know. Thank you. Okay, so like, Mr. Davila announced, May 7th is gonna be the, ribbon cutting for the track. And then, just a reminder that we are gonna have the State of the District. It's gonna be on May the 30th. And then the ag, ribbon cutting is on June the 4th, that's right. Those are upcoming events. We have them posted on our social media sites in case anybody's wondering about that as well.
All right, thank you, Dr. Pettis. We move now to item 6D, which is the budget recap report and the check register for March 2024. This can be found on pages 8 through 14 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Kufal, Dr. Pettis, members of the board. A couple of items on the first page, the air cleaning specialist, that was an upgrade to the ventilation system for automotive. It was time to do that, and at the same time, it also now meets ASC Education Foundation certification standards as well. TASB, Texas Association of School Boards Facility Assessment. This was done over a year ago. The payment was spread out over 3 years. We are still using the software where we can see what needs to be repaired. Hub City Overhead Door Company, there are always minor repairs every month to the bay doors, but this month we had a couple of major ones. The maintenance gate at the that divides maintenance transportation warehouse from the regular street went out, and that had a big repair, as well as we also repaired the Gillette kind of folding gate between the food service and the cafeteria as well. And then Southern Tire Mart, we ended up buying bus tires for almost all of our buses. It was time to replace those as well. I will take any questions that you guys have.
I had one, and I've probably seen this name on here before. He's a special education LSSP supervisor.
Yes, sir.
Who was he supervising?
He was supervising our LSSP intern. So he does two things. One, when you have an LSSP that's in training, their services need to be overseen by a supervisor until they finally get their final certificate. And at the same time, though, he is also servicing students as well.
Okay, so he services our students, but also supervised our intern.
Exactly, yes. So he will be in the future, he won't be supervising the intern anymore, but he will be servicing students in the future.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Dr. Pitts, on the first page, and I'm sorry if you went over this, I hate to be repeating myself or yourself. The Tellogic Inc., the E-rate consulting services, is that associated with what we're going to see later this evening?
That is previous services, but it's not associated with this new services. Every year there are different projects that are brought to the board for E-rate. And each one of those are the ones where, depending on the category, either E-rate pays for 85% or 90%. But at the same time, just like there is a SHARS service that helps us with all of the legal and filing for SHARS, there is also a consultant that helps us with filing for E-rate as well.
Do you know what kind of time period that would cover? That's not just a monthly.
No, that would be one project for E-rate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Pitts? The question is a little off topic and on topic, but I see a lot of student meals, and I know what that is, coaches that are getting reimbursed.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard back, or maybe Coach Garcia knows, the feedback on, we raise the per diem for that? Is that helping out any? Have you seen an increase on that? Was that, we raised the per diem for your students for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so.
Yeah, it helps.
It used to be $5, $6, and $7 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and now it's $6.50, $7.50, and $8.50 respectively.
Oh, yeah, it helps a lot actually, because a lot of the businesses will, and most of the time it's dinner that we get typically, but a lot of the businesses we work with, they give us a good deal for the $8.50. It's a lot better than what it was before. So usually the kids, like, for instance, if they go to whatever, they get, you know, a number one combo is the drink, the fries, the burger, the whole combo for $8.50 or whatever they give us our price at. And then same thing for Dairy Queen, they can get like a chicken strip box or a burger meal. Chick-fil-A does some meals for us and stuff like that. So the $8.50 is what really helps a lot, because typically it's dinner that we give them, and the $8.50 is something they're willing to work with.
Thank you.
Any further questions on the check register? If not, thank you, Dr. Pitts. Let's move on to item number 7, which would be new business. Item 7A, by common consent, the board agrees to consider as one action item the following: approval of special meeting minutes of April 9th, 2024, found on page 15 to 17 of our packet. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Morales,
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Salinas. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item 7B, discussion and possible action regarding School Nurses Recognition Week proclamation. This can be found on page 18 and 19 of our packet. Dr. Farah.
Good evening, Mr. Kufal, board members, Dr. Perez. This week, the week of May 6th through the 12th, 2024 is designated as School Nurse Recognition Week. I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas school nurses strengthen and facilitate the educational process by improving and protecting the health status of children and youth, and whereas school nurses work diligently in the school environment, serving not only our youth, but also their community in providing a variety of valuable school health services. And whereas, in addition to their caregiving duties, school nurses must also demonstrate clinical expertise using sophisticated medical equipment and performing specialized procedures. In their efforts to meet student health needs, school nurses serve as a vital link between parents, teachers, and administrators. And whereas the major focus of school nursing services is the prevention of illness and the early detection and correction of health problems within the school and community. And whereas all citizens recognize the contributions school nurses make to the health of our children that allows them to reach their full potential. And therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Kingsville Independent School District hereby proclaim the week of May 6th through 12th, 2024 as School Nurses Recognition Week.
All right, board, you've heard the proclamation and the recommendation by administration that we proclaim that particular week, May 6th through the 12th, as School Nurses Recognition Week. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Ruiz,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Glusing. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Farah. Item 7C, discussion and possible action regarding National Speech Therapist Week proclamation. This can be found on pages 20 to 21 of our packet. Mrs. Zimmerman.
Good evening, President Kufal, Dr. Pettis, and school board. I am excited and proud to let you know about the week of May 6th through the 10th of 2024 has been designated as National Speech Therapists Week. So I'm going to read our proclamation, and I'm also happy to say that the majority of our team is also here to be recognized as well. So whereas speech language pathologists, often informally known as speech therapists, are professionals educated in the study of human communication, its development, and its disorders. Whereas they treat clients with a wide variety of speech and language problems, ranging from those caused by birth defects to others resulting from stroke in older patients. Whereas these highly skilled professionals assess, diagnose, and treat people with communication difficulties in a wide variety of settings, among them clinics, hospitals, schools, and nursing homes. Whereas patients who have successful therapy may see individual improvements in different areas, including improvements in speech, language, fluency, voice, and swallowing difficulties. Whereas to highlight the importance of the services provided by speech therapists, a week in May has been designated for an awareness campaign. Whereas at this time, therefore, I encourage all Texans to recognize the essential role of speech therapists and the important contributions they provide. Together, they work to make a positive difference in the Lone Star State. Whereas Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, has proclaimed statewide recognition of speech therapists, and therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Kingsville Independent School District hereby proclaim the week of May 6th through 10th, 2024 as National Speech Therapist Week. And here tonight, we have our speech therapists as well as our speech pathologists.
Wonderful. Can you introduce them to come up?
Yes, come on up. All right. So we have our lead speech language pathologist, Roxanne Benitez. Next to her, we have our speech therapist, Kimberly Coronado. Sorry. Next to her is our other wonderful speech therapist, Debbie Garza. And we also have another speech pathologist, and that's Tina Gomez. And we're just missing our other wonderful speech pathologist, Corey Mosqueda.
Thank you. All right, board, you've heard the proclamation and the recommendation that we adopt the proclamation. There's a move to that motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Garcia. Seconded by Ms. Salinas. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item 7D, discussion and possible action regarding Teacher Appreciation Week proclamation. This can be found on page 22 to 23 of our packet. Dr. Farrell.
Good evening again. The week of May 6th through the 10th, 2024 has been designated as Teacher Appreciation Week. The following proclamation is being presented for board approval. Whereas teachers serve in partnership with the parents of our community's children, and whereas teachers strive to instruct students to read with comprehension, write with skill, and communicate effectively and responsibly in a variety of ways and settings, and whereas teachers teach our community's children to know and apply the core concepts of and principles of mathematics, social, physical, and life sciences, civics and history, geography, art, health, and fitness, and whereas teachers inspire students to think analytically, logically, and creatively, and to integrate experiences and knowledge to form reasoned judgments and solve problems, and whereas teachers help our students understand the importance of work and how performance, effort, and decisions directly affect career and educational opportunities, and whereas we support our teachers in their mission to educate the children of our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kingsville Independent School District Board of Trustees designate the week of May 6th through the 10th, 2024 as Teacher Appreciation Week. In addition, be it further resolved that the Kingsville Independent School District calls on the community to join with us in thanking and recognizing teachers for their dedication and devotion to their work.
Board, you've heard the proclamation and the recommendation that it be adopted. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Ruiz. Seconded by Mr. Chapa. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. We move now to item 7E, discussion and possible action regarding out-of-state travel, the H.M. King High School JROTC. This can be found on pages 24 to 28 of our packet. Dr. Farrell.
Good evening. H.M. King High School, JROT, is requesting board approval to travel to Washington, D.C. to participate in the Junior Army JROTC Leadership and Academic Championship Competition on June 21st through the 25th at the Catholic University of America. This competition is hosted by United States Army Cadet Command. Attached is a letter from Lieutenant Colonel James A. Troya, sorry, I knew I was gonna mess that up. Troya, USA Army JROTC instructor who will provide more information.
Mr. Kufal, Superintendent, Dr. Cicerone, President of the Board. I'm so proud of my 4 kids. Well, I got 3 of them now. One had to go to work. And they competed level 1 in November. And that was about 2,900 across the nation. Then in February, it got down to 1,066. And then now it's down to 66. So they're going to compete with everyone mostly throughout the United States. And we got a few that are in Texas here they're going to compete with. You got New York, Maryland, Nebraska, Illinois, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, California, Hawaii. So it's all expenses paid. You don't have, and no money's coming out of the district. Cadet Command is taking care of this. So we're leaving on American Airlines June 21st, coming back June 25th. And it should be an exciting time for the kids. They're going to go the Mall of America, the National Mall up there. They're going to see all the exhibits up there, the Lincoln Memorial, Vietnam Memorial. I'm going to try to get them to the White House if I can. But they have a program, the itinerary, I think you guys have. So I'm just requesting approval.
We can probably talk to our congressman from up there.
Yes,
If they'll visit.
that'd be great. And I'd like to recognize Zach back here. Stand up,
Would
Zach.
you all come up here to the front so we can
You got
acknowledge
Zachary
you?
Hamilton, you have Braden Milton, and you have Arjun Nakaromi. And we're missing Luisa Elizondo. He had to work too.
All right, Board, you've heard the presentation and request for us to approve the out-of-state travel. Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Mr. Garcia. Second. Seconded by multiples. We'll get. Chop. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Item 7F, discussion and possible action regarding the allotment and TEAC certification for 2024-2025. This can be found on page 29 to 53 of our packet. Dr. Farah.
Good evening. School districts are required to certify annually to the State Board of Education and the Commissioner that for each subject in the required curriculum other than physical education, students have access to instructional materials that cover all the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. Districts and charter schools will be unable to order the 24-25 instructional materials through EMAT until the certification has been received by the Texas Education Agency. Behind this, you will see the certification of provisions of instructional materials. Ms. Norma De La Garza and I worked on this together. Any questions?
Board, any questions, Dr. Farah? All right, if not, it's recommended that we approve the allotment and TEAC certification for 2024 to 2025, which we've been presented tonight to be sent to TEA. Is there a motion to so approve? Motion made by Ms. Salinas. Seconded by Mr. Morales. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Farah. Item 7G, discussion and possible action regarding the instructional materials adoption. This can be found on page 54 to 55 of our packet. Dr. Farah.
The District Instructional Materials Committee, after reviewing the Proclamation 2024 Adopted Instructional Materials List and attending teacher-led hearings, recommends that the Board of Trustees adopt the enclosed list of the Science K-12, CTE, Career Development, and Health Sciences for instructional materials as adopted by the State Board of Education. So teachers went, we had a textbook expo here at the Dome. Teachers were able to go and see the materials from the committee. They filled out all the forms and they voted on these materials. And behind or attached to that, you will see which materials we are adopting for science, CTE, and health sciences.
Are there any questions of
Yes, sir, and engineering, sorry.
All right, you've heard the recommendation that the instructional material listing be adopted as presented. Is there a motion to that effect? Motion made by Ms. Salinas.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Morales. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Dr. Farah.
Thank you.
Item 7H, discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of localized policy update 122. This can be found on page 56 to 135 of our packet. Dr. Sandoval.
Thank you, Mr. Kufal. I'm Board Trustees. I'm Dr. Pettis. I'm here to do our second reading of Update 122, which includes revisions to local policies based on legislative and regulatory changes. We got 10 policies that we're looking at for potential inclusion, revision, or deletion. Starting with CQB local. This is based on new notification requirements imposed by Senate Bill 271. The security breach notification provisions have been revised to include security incidents. You can go to the next page. One more. All right, next one is CSA local. This new local policy on facility safety and security includes recommended provisions addressing audits of building access control to comply with the Commissioner's new safety rules for facilities. DC local, House Bill 1789 creates a nepotism exemption for hiring bus drivers regardless of county population. This policy delegates hiring authority for non-contractual employees to the superintendent. EHB local, This is according to House Bill 3928, which requires the board to adopt and implement a policy requiring the district to comply with all rules and standards adopted by the State Board of Education and guidance published by the commissioner to implement a program to test students for dyslexia and related disorders. EHBC local, that policy be deleted and moved to EHBCA local. Next one, EHBCA local. This local policy has been recoded from EHBC local to align with EHBCA local legal, which was created in Legal Update 121. Recommended changes to local policy reflect that a parent's ability to request a particular teacher after a student fails to perform satisfactorily on a state assessment is no longer limited to students in grades 3, 5, and 8. Other change delete references to the Accelerated Learning Committee, which has been eliminated. A district must now develop an accelerated learning plan for certain students. FEA local, Senate Bill 68 allows a district to excuse a student from attending school for career investigation days to visit a professional workplace during the student's junior and senior years to determine the student's interest in a career in the professional field. FFAC local, these are recommended revisions to the policy are based on Senate Bill 629, which require district to adopt a local policy regarding maintenance, administration, and disposal of opioid antagonists at each campus that serves students in grades 6 through 12. FB local, recommended revisions to this local policy on crisis intervention include the following. In accordance with House Bill 3, provisions have been added on student records to require each campus to establish a clear procedure for students to report concerning behavior by another student. And revisions also on employee confidentiality are based on Senate Bill 1720 and allow employees who report a potential threat to elect to keep their identities confidential. And lastly, FL local, this House Bill 1416 repeals provisions related to accelerated learning committees. The references to accelerated learning committees has been replaced with references to accelerated educational plan. So those are the recommendations or the revisions, additions, and deletions out of Update 122. The administration recommends that the board approve these updates. This serves as second reading.
All right, board, these revisions as required by law and as suggested by TASB were presented to us in the March meeting, which we discussed and approved as the first reading, this being the second reading. Are there any specific questions about any of the policy or revisions being proposed?
Yes. Under FEA local, it says, we must adopt a policy to determine when the absence will be excused for professional field, exploring professional fields. Have we done that?
The policy is written as 2 days, but if we want to minimize it to 1 day or no days, the district would have to, or the board would have to make action on that, and then we can revise it on the policy updates.
But that was my question in the beginning. What are we doing? I know
It's recommended-
no days or 1 day or 2 day, but what are we?
2 days is what we're proposing.
Mr. Gleason, page 107 of your packet will show the exact language included in the policies. It's actually been added to the policy.
I appreciate it, thank you. I just want to make sure that we don't get the cart before the horse.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the policy update 122 revisions as presented in the second reading?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Ruiz,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Morales. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sandoval. Item 7I, discussion and possible action regarding E-rate 2024 technology projects category 1. This service is for fiber lease and internet access and can be found on page 136 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Gufall. As you're aware, with E-rate, we are provided a percentage that the government funds, and we only have to fund either 10%, whether it is category 1, or 15%, whether it's category 2. So we get the most bang for the buck with these services. There's 3 projects we're going to talk about, and all of these projects, they're not over the funding limit, but because of E-rate requirements, we bring them to the board for approval, not because of procurement requirements. They're all well under the threshold. If you look at the first project, that is a recurring project. A couple of years ago, we did go out for an RFP for fiber cable lease. Foremost came in with the lowest price, and they have given us really good service since then. So this first project for 24-25, if we were to do it on our own, would cost us over $69,000. But since the government is paying for most of it, we will only be on the hook for $6,973.69. I'll take any questions that you might have.
I'm a little confused.
Yes, sir.
The recommendation is that this be awarded, and I hope I'm on the right one because these are all very similar. Never mind. All right, you've heard so we are remaining with the same company?
Yes.
Okay.
For the first one, we are remaining with the same company.
All right, that's Foremost Telecommunications.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all have heard the recommendation and the presentation regarding the E-rate 2024 technology projects category 1 service, fiber lease, and internet access, and the recommendation that the service will be awarded to and continue with Foremost Telecommunications. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to adopt the recommendation?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Morellis, seconded by Mr. Chapa. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item 7J, discussion and possible action regarding E-rate 2024 technology projects category 1 service, business Wi-Fi internet access. This can be found on page 137 to 138 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Gufall. These last 2 projects, it was time to go out for bids on them. So if you look at the second page, it has the different vendors, the different categories that were scored, and it has the final scores there. Again, for this one, the total amount that so this provides bus Wi-Fi for all of our buses. The students can have connectivity. The total cost of the project is $8,661.60. The district's portion of it would only be $866.66 by taking advantage of E-rate. I will take any questions you might have.
So this is essentially adding Wi-Fi capabilities to all school buses, or?
Yes, we currently already have it on school buses, but it ran out, so we went out for bids on this. You're welcome.
So this is based on every school bus we have, or is it a flat rate, or does it matter how many buses?
No, it doesn't matter how many buses.
And so if we get the new ones next year, well,
Usually it's 2 to 3 years before we go out to bids again. And a lot of times it'll also depend on the service, but after 3 years, we want to see what else is out there to make sure we're getting the best rate. But again, if we have really good service and we have a really good price, we'll continue for a few years.
All right, you've heard the presentation and the recommendation. Is there a motion to adopt the recommended E-rate 2024 technology project category 1 service, business Wi-Fi internet access as recommended in the presentation?
so moved.
Motion made by Mr. Galucci,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Garcia. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item 7K, discussion and possible action regarding E-rate 2024 technology projects category 2 service, campus data cabling. This can be found on page 139 to 140 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Gufall. The first two projects were category one. Category one refers more to connectivity, and that is, it's essentially unlimited, the matching that they will give you for that. They really believe that connectivity is paramount for all school districts. Category two, there's a limit of how much that you can spend over 5 years. It's about $360 per student ADA. Over 5 years, we're looking at about $350,000, whereas in the past, they would give you $7-8 million. You could do a whole bunch more of category two in the past, but now they've kind of put limits on that, how much you can do, how much service and cabling that you can do. This is for the 4 campuses, Gillette, Pettis, 3 campuses and Harrow. And as you can see, if we did this on our own without going through E-rate, it would be $73,000. The E-rate discount is only 85% for category two, unlike 90% for category one. You see the district's rate amount, it would be $10,953.90 for those services that we're planning to do during 24-25 with the board's approval. I'll take any questions.
This is a vendor we have dealt with before.
Yes, it is a vendor that we've dealt with before. As a matter of fact, over the last 2 years, we have bid them out for many additional projects, including things like vape sensors and basically other technology type services as well. And they've done a great job for us in the past. And they've consistently been the lowest bid as well too.
Dr. Pitts, I understand your ability to evaluate the financial aspect of it, but the technological aspect of it comes.
The committee was composed of me on the financial side and technology personnel as well. So I don't, you're right, I don't have the knowledge to evaluate the technology aspect. So it is a group effort.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? You've heard the presentation, the recommendation by administration to adopt this E-rate 2024 technology projects category 2 service, campus data cabling, as presented. Is there a motion to so approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Ruiz,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Morales. Any further discussion? If not, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. The board will now enter into closed sessions in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.071 and 551.074 to deliberate and consider the following. 8A, consider and deliberate regarding the resignation, retirement of contract administrators. 8B, consider and deliberate with legal counsel regarding legal and personnel matters. No action will be taken until we return to open session. We are entering closed session at 6:24 p.m. necessary action on matters which the board may discuss in open session upon which action may be taken. We're returning to open session at 6:36 PM. Item 9A, discussion and possible action regarding the resignation/retirement of contract administrators. Dr. Pettis.
Administration recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the retirements as presented in executive session.
You've heard the recommendation by the administration. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Garcia,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Ruiz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. There being no further action to be taken by this board, I am declaring this regular meeting of the Board of Trustees adjourned at 6:37 PM.